In the canon timeline, Admiral Aladar Jirok defected from the Romulan Star Empire, believing his people were preparing to invade Federation space. But the invasion was a lie, part of a deception engineered by Commander Tomalak to test Starfleet readiness and evaluate Picard. When Picard exposed the truth, Tomalak retreated, the tension faded, and a fragile peace held. That is how the story ends, in canon at least. But in this scenario, something important changes, something most of the Alpha Quadrant never learns. Tomalak's mission was never authorized. There was no invasion plan approved by the Praetor, no Senate directive for aggression, and no strategic operation signed off by the military. The Federation invasion narrative he fed Jirok? A lie. One Tomalak constructed himself to elevate his standing in the Empire. Even the Tal Shiar did not initiate the operation. They observed it for sure, continued to monitor, but they didn't control it. Tomalak was acting on ego, fear, and ambition. Jirok never knew he had been deceived on both sides. So when Picard exposed the truth, Tomalak wasn't simply embarrassed, he was cornered. He was exposed as a liar to the Federation, undermined in front of Jirok, and terrified that the Senate would discover he had fabricated an invasion plan. In our timeline, he doesn't retreat. In this one, he panics, he fires. He orders a surgical disabling volley, a controlled burst meant to cripple the Enterprise and force Picard into surrender. A theatrical show of strength. A way to save face and regain control. But two D'Deridex-class warbirds firing simultaneously unleash far more than a warning. Green plasma bleeds across the void, shields collapsing instantly. The blast tears through the saucer, and the warp core goes critical. The Enterprise D, the flagship of the Federation, is annihilated in seconds. Picard, Riker, Data, Worf, LaForge, Troy, Beverly, all gone. Over 1,000 Starfleet officers vanish in a flash too bright to comprehend. Jirok, before he died as well, watched the very people he had hoped to save die in front of him. And before the moment can settle, before the shock can even register, 4 Klingon birds of prey decloak around the debris. They had seen everything. They didn't know Picard's clandestine request for their assistance. They didn't know the Romulan operation was rogue. They also didn't know Tomalak had never been acting on Senate orders. The only thing they saw was the destruction of an ally's flagship. An act of pure dishonor. For Klingons, honor doesn't wait for permission. The Klingons open fire immediately. Both Romulan warbirds are erased before they can retreat. No survivors would be found. No logs left, no sensor telemetry. No records that could explain what really happened. 3 powers, 3 interpretations, no truth left behind. In less than 30 seconds, The Defector, an episode about restraint, deception, and diplomacy, becomes the moment that destroys the Alpha Quadrant. The destruction of the Enterprise D sends a shockwave through the Alpha and Beta quadrants, not just politically, but psychologically. And in the very first hours of the crisis, all 3 major powers make the same fatal mistake. They assume they're the ones under attack. From the moment Starfleet Command receives word of the Enterprise's destruction, the response is immediate and absolute. Starfleet escalates to Fleet Condition 1, the highest state of military readiness in the Federation. A posture so rare that most officers only read about it in Academy history modules. Subspace channels clog with panic transmissions. Starbases locked down. Fleets scramble without coordination. Every available ship is ordered to defensive positions along the neutral zone. But the Federation has a deeper wound. There's no Picard there to rally them. No Riker, no Data. no crew of the Enterprise. The entire command structure of the Federation's most experienced flagship is gone. Admiral Hansen takes emergency control, but even he is overwhelmed. He's missing intelligence, leadership, and context. And the worst part is that he knows it. To Starfleet, this is simple. The Romulans launched a surprise attack and murdered a Federation flagship. They believe the Klingons intervened heroically. They believe Tomalak intended an invasion all along. And they believe the Senate approved it. It doesn't matter that every one of those things is wrong. Where the Federation sees a tragedy, the Klingons see dishonor. A Romulan commander fired on a Federation flagship, while Klingon warriors were present. To the Klingon psyche, this is worse than an ambush. It is a personal insult, a challenge. Chancellor Gowron convenes the High Council in emergency session. In a matter of hours, the Empire moves to a full wartime footing. Great houses volunteer entire fleets. Martok, already known for his aggressive raids, declares the death of the Enterprise a wound on our honor. And in typical Klingon fashion, they don't wait for diplomacy, treaties, or clarification. They begin mobilizing for open war. To the Klingons, the situation is crystal clear. The Romulans attack the Federation. Therefore, the Romulans attack the Empire. It doesn't matter that this logic is built on assumptions. Honor demands action. If the Klingons are furious, the Romulans are furious and paranoid. 2 warbirds lost, Tomalak dead, no survivors, logs gone, not even a warning. From their perspective, the situation is unmistakable. Tomalak didn't fire first. The Federation and the Klingons set a trap. The Tal Shiar, always eager to shape the narrative, supplies the Senate with forged sensor data that appears to confirm a joint Federation-Klingon ambush. The Senate is outraged. The Praetor is humiliated. And in the end, the Romulan people demand revenge. The Empire mobilizes its border fleets. Cloaked wings fan out towards the neutral zone. Emergency production begins in key shipyards. To the Romulans, the logic is simple. The Federation used a defector to lure Tomalak in, and the Klingons destroyed him. And once again, it doesn't matter that every part of this is a lie. The Federation believes the Romulans attacked them. The Klingons believe the Romulans betrayed honor. The Romulans believe the Federations and Klingons conspired to assassinate one of their commanders. And none of them know the truth. It was a misunderstanding, a miscalculation, a single decision gone catastrophically wrong. The Enterprise, the Warbirds, are all gone, and the Klingons are committed. In the absence of truth, each government fills the void with fear, pride, and certainty. On day 1, there is still no formal declaration of war. But the moment Fleet Condition 1 is activated, the High Council mobilizes, and the Senate orders retaliation, the Alpha Quadrant is already at war. The only question left is who strikes first. And in 6 days, we get our answer. Fleets shift, the borders harden. Then at 0430 hours on day 6, the war begins. 3 Romulan warbirds decloak inside Federation territory, mere kilometers from Starbase 234. There was no warning given. They didn't demand for surrender, not even giving an ultimatum. They just fire. The station's shield grid collapses almost instantly. Hull breaches rip through the mid-decks. Entire sections are vented into space. As Starfleet tries to raise a defense, Romulan strike teams beam aboard, seize encrypted navigational and fleet disposition files, and vanish. The entire attack lasts less than 8 minutes. When the smoke clears, Starbase 234 is crippled, and a symbol of Federation security is gutted in a single strike. For the Federation, the message is unmistakable. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was an attack. The Klingon Empire doesn't wait for permission. The moment word reaches the High Council that Starbase 234 has fallen, General Martok launches a retaliatory raid. His strike force comprises 7 birds of prey, 1 Cavort-class cruiser, and 1 Vorcha assault cruiser. Their objective? Destroy the supply lines feeding the Romulan warbirds that struck the Federation. They cross the border at full impulse. The first target is a Romulan listening post, erased in a single torpedo spread. Next, they descend upon the Vashana logistics hub, annihilating ammunition depots and supply barges. The destruction is total. When Romulan reinforcements arrive, the Klingons have already withdrawn, leaving nothing but the burning wreckage. To Klingon warriors, this is justice. To the Romulan Senate, this is proof of collusion between the Federation and Klingon Empire. After the destruction of Starbase 234, Admiral Hansen authorizes a rapid response group. 2 Excelsiors, 4 Miranda-class escorts, 1 Ambassador-class command ship. Their mission was simple: intercept a Romulan wing believed to be preparing a second strike. But they never get the chance. As the task force enters the Arduous Passage, a subspace corridor notorious for maneuverability limits, 2 D'Deridex warbirds decloak directly ahead. A third appears behind them. The Federation ships are trapped in a narrow kill zone. The Romulans attack with clinical precision, unleashing synchronized plasma volleys that tear into Starfleet hulls. 3 Federation ships are destroyed outright, 2 others crippled and scuttled by their captains to avoid capture. The remaining vessels limp out of the passage, decks shattered. The Romulans have held the field, held the line. The Federation has suffered another devastating loss, this time in open battle. In 8 days, the Alpha Quadrant has seen a Federation starbase crippled, major Romulan infrastructure destroyed, 5 Federation ships lost in the passage, multiple Klingon raids inside Romulan territory, cloaked infiltration teams operating in both Federation and Klingon space. All 3 militaries executing independent strikes with no coordination and no diplomacy. What started as a tragic accident has already escalated into a shooting war. But these first exchanges are nothing compared to what comes next. The Romulans believe the Klingon and Federation are preparing a preemptive invasion. The Klingons believe Romulans' dishonor must be answered with total war. The Federation believes the Romulans intend to push deeper into Federation territory. None of them realize that they've crossed the point of no return. These early strikes, they aren't the war. They're the spark. And the firestorm has just begun.